And then there's David Crespi. In January of 2006, he called 911 and told the dispatcher that he killed his twin 5-year-old daughters by stabbing them to death. There was no trial. He instead took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty, and he's now serving 2 life sentences. But had he gone to trial, his attorney says they would have used a defense saying Crespi had a psychotic break from being misdiagnosed and being given the wrong medication, including Prozac, Ambien, and several other drugs. And we are lucky to have David Crespi's attorney with us tonight. Thank you so much, Jim Cooney, for being on the program. I wanted to get your take on the Bryn Speecher case in California, because I feel like you've kind of been to this rodeo, although not all the way into the ring.
Well, there are some differences. David Crespi had a mental illness, and it was a misdiagnosed mental illness. And you see that a lot, that some of these defenses aren't really about the medication. They're about the wrong medication, or they're about an effective medication in the context of an already existing behavioral illness. Now, the case in California has got to be the outlier of outliers. I mean, you're talking about massive overkill. She killed a dog on top of it. I mean, the crime scene kind of screams out mental illness or psychotic break, and yet I hadn't heard about any prior history of that. So I think there's a lot we don't know about that. I would think it would be unusual that just 3 bong hits would send somebody into this kind of psychotic rage. But most of the drug defenses are always tied into a pre-existing behavioral health context.
Yeah, I'm with you on the 3-4 bong hits, but you know, who knows if that was laced with something that the toxicology tests did not test for. You know, who knows if it's some synthetic, you know, marijuana product from China that's come in that they don't even know about yet to test for it. So that's a possibility. Can I just ask you, though, about the whole idea of using drugs as a defense? The drugs made me do it. Do you think this is increasing as a trend? And do you think, if it is, that we understand more about drugs, their effect on mental health and its reaction to drugs?
I think yes to both questions. First of all, I think people are looking at it more because we understand more. We understand that when you administer drugs across tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people, tens of millions of times, that you're going to have effects that people didn't know about earlier. And then when you do it in the context of pre-existing behavioral health or mental health problems, you've got a recipe in a very few cases for disaster. But these are not absolute defenses for the most part. In other words, these are not defenses that the person's going to walk out of the courtroom a free man. What typically is going to happen is the defense is used to reduce the severity of the crime, say from first-degree murder to second-degree murder, or second-degree murder to manslaughter, because it interferes with the ability to premeditate or deliberate or act in a rational fashion. It doesn't mean a crime hasn't been committed or that you're not guilty of a crime. It simply means that you're not guilty.
Just quickly, can it also downward depart on your sentence, like mitigate how the jury feels about you if they have the opportunity to be part of the sentencing?
Oh, or the court, for that matter. The court certainly can take behavioral health or the effect of medications into account in terms of mitigating a sentence. And we do it all the time in death penalty cases. That's what you want to do in a death penalty case, is infuse the first phase, the guilt phase, with that kind of mitigation.
It's so fascinating. I could talk to you all day about this, and maybe we'll have another chance, too, because this case isn't over. Jim Cooney, thanks for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Still to come. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.